good morning, Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us again right here on Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. And we're here with me, Trish Williams.
I'm Tiana Carroll, and today we have a very special guest. If you've been a regular on the show, then you absolutely know the beautiful and talented Miss Sharon Swanton.
Yes, Sharon's with Affinity Solutions, and she's a real estate coach. Sharon, tell us a little bit about you in case this is the first time people are hearing from you.
Okay, well, I've been coaching for probably 25 years. I've been in real estate for 45 years. Been a broker for about 36 of those years, so I've been doing this a long time. And in recent years, I've worked a whole lot with the unconscious mind and what it is that actually holds people back from getting what it is they say they want. So when you say you want something and you create a plan and you're going for it and it's not working, that's where I come in.
Oh, I want to dive into that, but first I think we need to get to our numbers, right, Trish?
Yeah, let's talk about our numbers. So right now we have single family inventory. We all know it's raising, and single family homes are up to 6,695. We're going to hit 10,000 before the end of the year.
No, let's just sell them all and we don't have to worry about it.
That's all right. Get out there. Start selling some homes. 1,797 price reductions.
List price reductions, right?
List price reductions, yes, of course. And, you know, yesterday I was going over some stats with someone on, you know, what's going on, just like diving into these numbers a lot.
Right.
And what we had figured with the homes that are coming back on the market, the homes that are listed every week, and the price reductions every week, 1 in every 4 homes that are listed are dropping their prices, which is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
And those other 3 are just, you know, they're still trying to...
They're in a mindset.
Yeah, they're still stuck in that mindset. What we're talking about today, their unconscious mind is having a very hard time with this change.
Right.
So.
My neighbor sold for $60,000 over their list price. I want $60,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so we are dealing with a lot of that, which is why this show is great. This show is great for consumers, for realtors, for like everybody out there in the world, because we're experiencing change. Just a little bit of real estate news before we get into the show. What's been going on in real estate? Tiana, there was an article you were telling me about with the Station Casinos.
Yeah, at the beginning of the week, Stations Casinos announced that there was 4 properties that they were going to demolish and sell off the land. So it's that Boulder Strip and that Rancho Strip, so Texas Fiestas, those are now going to be a thing of the past. And much like the Heartland Mansion being demolished, there's a lot of people who are going to have ties to the bowling alley or to the ice skating ring at Texas and the movie theater, and their kids went there. It's sort of nostalgic, but we're losing more local casinos. They haven't been open since the pandemic started, so it's not that it's going to be a big shock not to have those in our community. We've already gotten past that. But just the fact that they are now going to be gone and something else, it's more growth and change.
And they're demolishing them so they don't have competition move into the building.
Yeah, you don't get our gaming floor. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully they don't put another adult superstore there.
Hey,
like
wrong?
The Heartland Mansion. That's right. Yes. But maybe we need more of those. I don't know. But yeah, that's we're definitely going to see something new. Hopefully, something nice.
Yeah. Just more change and growth and expansion.
Yep. And in our real estate community, we have a couple not so great news articles this week.
Yeah, some sad moments happened this week,
sad.
especially for our KW family.
Yes, very sad news. Well, starting off, we did have an attack of a realtor.
Yes.
New construction.
New construction, model home, and the thing is, it's, I guess, your mindset is exactly what we need to talk about here, because what really saved her and helped her was the fact that all of her spider senses were tingling. She knew something was wrong. She made sure to go and lock all of the windows that he had unlocked during the showing and shut the door. When he broke into the house, she was hiding in the closet, making phone calls. Those phone calls are what ultimately could have saved her. He did, you know, lewd act, so that happened, but it could have been worse, and so we're just kind of glad that she's safe. And it really goes back to LVR is really good, and they have quarterly these safety courses for realtors, learning how to trust your instincts. If you don't feel safe, let somebody walk in the house before you, never get yourself backed into a corner, know your exit strategies, keep your phone on you, have backup plans. Like you were a broker of mine for a very long time, and one of the things that you would talk to our team about was the red, yellow, green method. So we'd have things set up when we'd call our team and we'd say, you know, we're on fire hydrant, that's a red object, that means I'm in extreme danger now. Or I'm at 12 Canary, can you send me that file? Canary's being yellow, I'm, you know, concerned, keep an eye out for me and text and make sure I talk to you when I leave this property. So that always worked out well. Thank you for that.
Yeah, there's a safety is a huge concern, and in this is something I tell owner-occupied people a lot. This market, I feel like this is coming into play, and I'm having this conversation more often than not, because there's a lot of people that are selling their homes that are owner-occupants, and you know, we're not getting a lot of showings. Let's just be honest, elephants in the room. Homes are not getting a lot of showings. Don't matter which one it is, what's going on, where there's not a lot of activity going on out there.
Right.
So, you know, sellers are saying, well, like, hey, open houses, do all these other things. And owner-occupied houses, having open houses, again, it could not work. We have all these, there's a lot of
Right, there's always a debate
in that. But it's keeping in mind, I really emphasize the fact when I'm talking to sellers is, you're living in this house, and if we do have an open house, you have to understand the people that are coming in the door, I do not have any idea who they are.
Right.
I don't know if they're pre-qualified. I know that if an agent shows a buyer a home, the likelihood of them being pre-qualified, or at least that agent knowing who they are, unless they're completely reckless, the agent, which I can't control that, but the odds are very low. But that they have some kind of idea that that buyer is able to purchase your home. We have an open house, anybody could come in. If the house is vacant, it doesn't matter as much to the consumer, of course, but if the house is occupied, it's a concern. And in this market, that's something that I think sellers do need to know. Your safety and putting your home and safety at risk isn't always the best idea.
Right, and that's another thing, an issue that I have, one of the issues that I have for sale by owners. Just random people are able to walk up to their door and be like, hey, I want to see your house. And they're like, come right in. And I'd be like, nope, as somebody who's been in real estate. And it sounds awful, but anybody that's sort of in the fantasy porn genre is at higher risk. So like real estate agents, that's an entire genre and stuff. And so I have all sorts of people calling and texting, doing weird things. And when your spider senses tingle, get off the phone, send them to another agent, refer them out. Don't put yourself in danger, not for business.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So it is, safety should be first at mind. I hope our association at some point makes the pre-approval of working with buyers or showing buyers homes. I think that should be mandatory. And I get asked that by consumers a lot of times, like, is that mandatory? Is it a rule? No, it's a rule with our brokerage, it's a rule with our team, but that needs to be an official rule.
Anybody who's been in the business long enough, right, Sharon, they're gonna know. You're not gonna spin your wheels on somebody who's not pre-qualified. If you don't know who that person is and they haven't gone through a lender process and you have their information, then that's step one. So,
and that's really the primary issue. I mean, if you as an agent are out showing property to people you don't know, you're just totally wasting your money, your gas, your time. It's just a complete waste. Yeah. Not to mention that it's risky. I would say this, my experience with agents is if they'll trust their instincts, if it feels wrong, if it doesn't feel right, walk away. And take your phone, walk out of the house, get away. Yeah. Because I've talked to lots of cops over the years. When back in the REO days, I showed up at a listing and the door was kicked in. It was a vacant property. I just walked across the street and called the police. I had 2 squad cars there, nothing flat. They went in, guns drawn. They were very serious. And there was nobody in there. And I said, you know, I'm really sorry for the false alarm. And they said, oh no, we would much rather come out and have there be nothing than come out and find you hurt or worse.
Yeah.
So you need to know there's a lot of support for being conservative in this issue because their primary job is our safety.
Right.
So,
And this isn't the first time that there's been attack on agents and new home construction agents.
Yeah, that happened just last year or the year before in
happens
another
every
state.
year.
Yeah, I was
happens
going to say
every
it
year.
happens every year.
Yeah,
There's
it
always
does.
some story, and they drill it into us on be safe and trust your instincts, and these are the precautions that you can take. Even like our lockbox access, that has an emergency 911. When you're opening a lockbox and you're in distress, you can set it up so you have to put in a code, and if you're in distress, you don't put in the code, it alerts everybody. It's alerted you before when you were my broker. Just calling, you good? And I'm like, yeah, it was a mistake, sorry.
But it's good. It's good we have safety measures in place.
Yeah.
And then in other news, we did lose someone in our community this week, and it's very, for us, he's a personal friend of ours, and it's very heartbreaking. I could not think of anything negative to say about this guy. He was a wonderful guy, great smile. As Sharon was saying, the father of the year. Like this guy was so involved in his children's life. We know his family. We met him early on when him and his now ex-wife, but they're still good friends. Had their baby was an infant. They were just starting out, just getting into real estate, but he will be very missed. And I just sending out prayers to his family. And it's Zach Rainey. He was in the airplane accident in North Las Vegas.
wow.
And it was just very sad news. When I seen our office put out a memo, and when I seen it, I just couldn't believe it. I swear I just seen him a few days ago, but that's how it happens. Things happen so quick.
Right. Life is fleeting. You gotta love and appreciate it. And so our family is binding together and helping that family make sure that they're loved and supported.
Yeah. But Zach definitely, prayers go out to family, and Zach will be missed. So, sorry for that. So let's go and get into our talk of what we're here for today. Sorry.
Sad transition, but change happens. And so that is what we're talking about, right? Because it's on all different levels, and your mind is really the driver's seat of your life. So how you hopefully the goal the goal is to have your mind in control of your life. That would be great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so in real estate, in business, in the world, in everything right now, we're in change. Gosh, change is like if you could name this year. Change.
Yeah, well, this block of time, right, our whole 2.5-year cycle has been in this complete change. Unprecedented things have happened, and it's everything from personal lives to how we socialize, to how we work, to how we purchase. So
Sharon, tell us about
change.
And what does our unconscious mind do when that starts to happen?
Okay, well, first of all, your unconscious mind wants today to be like yesterday, and it wants tomorrow to be like today.
Yes.
The unconscious mind does not like change.
Yes.
It likes things to stay the same. And it doesn't matter whether the change is good change or bad change. It makes no difference to the unconscious mind. It's change, and so it's automatically suspect. And that's why it's so difficult when you want to change a habit, or you want to change a pattern, or you want to go on a diet, or you want to do anything different from what you've been doing, because your unconscious mind's sitting back here going, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Something's wrong. Now, you can learn to listen to that little voice. It takes a little bit of time, but you can learn to hear it. It'll talk to you. And so when you hear that, then you need to know, okay, this is what's aligning against me to keep me from doing what I want. So right now, what'll happen, this will be something like this. So I'll work with agents and I'll say, okay, I was saying to you earlier, you're going to have to start to do marketing. And you're saying, I am doing marketing. I'm saying, well, maybe not like the kind of marketing you need to be doing, right? Because it's different.
Yeah.
And so when we start to embark on a new way to handle things, there's this little voice going, you don't need to do that. Just wait a little while. It'll all come back. Yeah. I have had agents in every single market change. I've had them say, Sharon, don't you think it'll be better in the spring? And I said, no, it's not going to be better in the spring. But that's the little voice saying, just hang on. It'll be better after the first of the year. You don't really need to make changes. You don't really need to do all this stuff to try to get your listing sold or to cast a bigger net for buyers. You don't need to do that. Just hang on. It'll all sort itself out. It doesn't necessarily do that. So So what happens when change shows up is you're not only are you trying to learn new things, but you've got this part of you going, you know, it was really fine the way it was. It's okay the way it is. You don't really need to go to all this discomfort, learn these new things, go spend money on whether something may or may not work. You don't really need to do that. That's what goes on in the back of your mind.
Okay, so how do we fix that?
Well, you have to talk to yourself.
Oh, good. I do that all the time. I'm an expert at that.
Had a staff meeting in the car this morning.
Exactly.
Sounds silly, but the unconscious mind and the conscious mind do not speak to one another. So you can't just think your way through it. And I deal with a lot of people who say, well, I think about that every day. Well, that's fine, but your unconscious mind has no idea what you're thinking. Your unconscious mind is a little separate part of you that's not connected to your conscious mind. So if you want to make change, you have to talk to it. So when it says,
I love mornings. I love mornings. I love mornings.
Well, that is kind of the concept behind affirmations. I mean, I have some issues with affirmations, but that's kind of the idea behind it is that, so when the little voice goes, Trish, you don't really need to spend money and learn all that stuff. You've been in the business a long time. You know what you're doing. You're a top producer. You go, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I do need to learn something new. So I'm not going to listen to you right now. I'm going to go try something. Now, here's what's interesting about the unconscious mind. So if you argue with it and you go ahead and you do what you want, the unconscious mind is forced to accept new data. So if you show it that a new way works, it will eventually go, oh, okay, that works, and then it'll support you. But
it's like we're big computers.
Well, kind of.
Absolutely.
Kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a petri dish of chemicals that works more efficiently than a computer.
Yeah. So it's a matter of getting through the transition, and depending on what you're trying to change, it can take longer or shorter. Because some of us have been doing the same things for many, many, many years, so when you start trying to change that, it's going to take more time, and it's going to require more effort, where what we were talking about earlier about you changing your marketing strategies, that's not going to take you a huge amount of time. But you are going to hear the little voice saying, Trish, why are you doing this? You don't need to spend money on this. You don't need to do this. Look, you know how to sell real estate. That's what you're going to hear because that's what the little voice, that's what it does. And it keeps you then from doing the things that you need to do. And always when you're not sure, always when you're doing something new and you're not sure, then the little voice comes in and it's the voice of reason. I'm going to help you because I know how it ought to be. And that's how the little voice sounds. So it's not that it can't be changed, and it isn't really that it's your enemy. Your unconscious mind wants things to be stable. It wants things to stay the same. It wants you to be safe. And so that's why it doesn't like change. It's not too sure that you could handle the change. It's not too sure it'll be okay if you change. And so when in doubt, it says, just stay the same. We know what that is. We know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to be going through a lot of different changes. See, I would like to, you need to understand that this is just the beginning. So you mentioned the Fed's going to meet next week. Okay.
July 27th. I forgot to mention that news. Be prepared.
Okay. So rates are going to go up again.
They are.
And so inventory is going to build. We're going to start to see changes in the real estate community. We're going to see some people getting out of the business.
Jumping ship. Yeah. No, I'm expecting that. And I've already actually, I feel like it's so soon, but I've already been hearing of people saying like, oh, I'm going to get out and go, you know, put my resume out in different places. I'm like, wow, it's been a month. Like,
well,
it has not happened quickly.
For people who need to earn a living and haven't been able to do it and see the writing on the wall, they will get out. Top producers always adapt. It just takes a certain amount of time. And there's a segment of our business doesn't really need the money, and they stay in no matter what. But that's the change that goes on. And the likelihood is we're at the beginning of the changes, which means we're going to see like rates go up and what that means. But probably by middle of winter, we're going to be seeing new things that we're going to be dealing with.
And there's already every lender I'm talking to is like, we're going to be releasing this new product. We're rolling out this new. They're working on ways to make this at least digestible.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of interesting things coming across my email. You know, I'm seeing no doc loans. I'm seeing adjustable mortgages. I'm seeing all kinds of interesting stuff. Now we have to wait and see how it settles out and see how much of it is actually stuff we want to use.
Right.
But there's,
and that's when they call me, I'm like, okay, so I need details.
Right.
Send me a sheet that has
Right.
all of the information, because
Right.
I'm not going to call my buyers and tell them about this, and then we find out the details and it's something insane. Like,
Right.
I need information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're going to have that mindset, because I would predict that for the next 4 months we're going to see lots of new things tried and lots of new stuff show up. Eventually it's going to settle down. It will eventually settle down, and we'll see some stuff. We'll see adjustable mortgages come back. In fact, the ones
they're
I've looked
already
at,
back.
well, I've been a little surprised, because the ones I've looked at have come back starting rates in the 4s, which is not that big a
You're like, why don't you just buy down the rate? Like, is that really attractive?
Exactly.
I've seen that
Exactly.
too, and I'm like,
Yep.
that doesn't make I don't see
But
the
that all comes
incentive.
back to the change in the fear, right? So what people are used to and what they've been doing and what they've seen in the market is
Yep.
what they want. And now that it's starting to change, then they put up those objections and hold the brakes like, whoa, 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 this is the way we do it. Well, now this is the way we do it.
But buy downs are a great seller solution. I mean, that's
Yeah.
something sellers can offer as a resource.
And should.
For buyers. And should. Absolutely they should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we're seeing a lot of like bonuses and
Yep,
incentives
you're
and
gonna
all
see
of that.
Yep.
I've seen
Those
a lot of
co-ops
those.
are hiking back up.
Yep.
All of those coming back.
Yep.
I seen an article yesterday come through Inman about like MIP, PMI, you know, that mortgage, private mortgage insurance, whatever, the mortgage insurance that does you no good as a consumer.
It protects the bank. That's what its job is. You know.
the insurance policy that no one benefits from.
Except for the people
except-
giving you the money.
Yeah,
Except-
you're-
yeah, exactly. The lender benefits.
Yeah,
That's-
your junk fee for not paying 20%.
Right.
So there's talk on that, because, and this is something that I've talked about a few times, that like I don't understand like why it's not talked about much. But when I bought a home back in 2007, interest rates 7.5%, but that my mortgage insurance, and I didn't put 20% down, was like really, really low, very, very low payment per month and very low percentage. And now in that same loan, it would be a lot higher. I think by like, I did the numbers, it was like $150 difference per month.
Okay, so let's talk about interest rate and what it is a reflection of. Okay, fees like that, it's all a function of risk. It's all a reflection of risk.
Absolutely.
So interest rates are a reflection of risk. Fees, PMI, MIP, all that stuff, it's all a reflection of risk. I was talking to one of my coaching clients who happens to be a lender. He does reverse mortgages. He also does some hard money stuff, and he's been pretty successful at the hard money stuff. And he was telling me that his clients, his hard money guys, are getting real squirrely about what they'll take and how long they'll take it for.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah. And he said, and I'm trying to figure it out. I said, it's really simple. Nobody has a crystal ball. They can't see any farther than about 4 to 6 months out. So you're asking them to make a commitment to next June, and they're going, I have no idea if we're even going to be here next June.
I might get burned. They're scared that they're going to lose their money.
That's exactly right. So you're going to see a lot of things going on as long as the future is so opaque, as long as it's so hard to see where we're going. And then don't forget, we've got an election coming up in the middle of all of this, which is adding to the I don't know what's going to happen mindset.
Absolutely.
Because nobody does know. And so a lot of what's going on right now, and will be going on until November, is all about that. I can't see where I'm going, can't see where I'm going to end up. If I have this little pool of cash that I normally invest in, but I know how I'm going to get the return on that investment, then that's how I decide what to charge for it. But if I can't see where I'm going to be in 6 months or 8 months or a year, then I'm a lot less willing to part with it.
Caution, fear.
Fear, yeah.
I've been experiencing that on myself in my own life and business right now, because of the fact that everybody wants to list rate. everybody wants to list right now.
Of course they do.
Listings are the easiest thing to find out there ever. It's like an opportunity. You want listings, you got them all.
Now we got to work on selling them.
Yeah, selling them is the challenge, exactly.
But you can't just take a listing. You can't just take listings.
No.
Cost money, and
Yes, they
especially
do.
right now, they're
Yes,
costing
they do.
a lot of money.
Yes,
I'm spending more money right now marketing than
And it
I
will
have
con-
over
and
the
you
last
will
couple of years.
continue to do that.
And I'm looking at like this volume of listings, like you could have substantial losses by
Yes.
taking a lot of listings if the sellers are not motivated. I've walked away just over the last couple of weeks from 2 appointments where the seller's mindset was not motivated. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry, this isn't the market for that.
Right.
Your fantasy world is great. It would have worked 3 months ago, but I can't take your listing if you're not willing to budge on these things right here. It's not going to happen because that's going to be my money I lose. And people don't understand that. Realtors, it may look like we make good money in the end, but we put up a lot of cash.
Yeah.
So
do
one
it.
of the things that I used to say to a seller, and and it really would get an interesting reaction. I'd say, I don't make any money with my sign in your front yard.
Yeah.
And they'd go, what? And I'd say, no, I don't make any money until somebody buys your house and actually closes escrow. And in order for me to make the investment in your listing that I need to make in order to get it sold, I have to have a reasonable expectation of a return on that time and money invested. So if I can't see that, if I can't see how I'm going to get a return on my time and money invested, I can't afford to take your listing.
Exactly.
And people would go, you won't list my house? I'd say, no, not unless we can come to an
Right.
agreement
No,
about where we're going and that we have a mutual objective here that works for both of us.
And there's other people that will because they have no risk. They're not going to put any money into it, but good luck.
And because they don't really understand.
Yeah.
It
That's
comes
the other
back
thing.
to I was going to say experience, just like we don't take buyers out without pre-qual.
Exactly.
We don't take listings when a seller thinks that they're going to dictate how the transaction goes when they've sold, one house in 7 years.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We have the experience. We do that every month.
Yep.
Yeah. I had a seller tell me the other day that that's fine, but they're going to, the buyers are going to pay their closing costs. I was like, yeah, they're not.
They're not.
You're probably going to pay theirs.
Right.
Let's be honest
Right.
right now. Like
Right.
it's not going to happen. And that's at the end of the appointment. I said, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm the agent for you. I can sit here and tell you that all the things that you want right now are going to happen. But if you really do not want to list your home, if those things are not going to happen, it's not going to work out. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie to you.
I met with a seller with one of my coaching clients a couple days ago, and we were talking about doing a marketing event, and I was describing to him the 2-week process that goes into creating this event. And I said, however, if you're not sure what you want to do, we can't even get started on this process. And he said, I see what you're talking about. And he said, you're right, I have to be committed. And I said, yeah. He said, and right now, I don't know. And I said, okay, well, when you know, let us know, because we can't do anything without knowing that. And I said, and by the way, because we're going to be doing this kind of effort, we also are not going to discount our fees. He had already told our agent that he wanted us to cut our fees. And I thought, well, let's deal with that right now, because we're not going to do that,
Right.
because we're worth every penny.
Yeah.
He saw it. I mean, this guy was smart, and he said, no, I see. I understand why you aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I don't think this is true with either one of you, because you've been around a while, but sometimes agents simply don't explain the realities
Yeah.
of our business and how it works and what it really is. So people think we're greedy and we just want a lot of money, and that's not it. We're in business. This is a business decision that we're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take it to the next level. We talk about the market every single week. Make sure people know.
I tell people that I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I have like people come, other agents come and ask me like, what's going on right now, because they know I watch these numbers. I'm like, I do know the numbers. I can say that for sure. We are very, very versed on the numbers. So, but yeah, it's a hard time, and it is. I think, I know that we wouldn't have 6,695 homes on the market if every agent and every one of those listings had a seller that was 100% motivated, informed, and realistic of the market that we're in.
Right.
What
Or those
percentage of that?
rejections.
Yeah. What percentage of that is unrealistic sellers? And they're flooding the market and making it making it worse. I'm sorry, they are. What if we had only motivated, realistic sellers on the market and homes that were there,
educated on what the market really looks like now?
Yeah.
But to me, that's our biggest job as agents. Our biggest job is education.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's the thing that many agents fall down on the most, and it's because they don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not willing, they just don't know what to say.
And it changes so fast.
It changes very fast.
You have to stay on top of this. This real estate is not sit back and have weekends off and drink mimosas and just
go to lunch. Don't forget, go to lunch.
Oh, yes, we lunch every day. I forgot.
Yes.
Where are we going for lunch today, ladies?
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway, so no, but keeping them educated and as agents staying on top of the market, and when changes start to happen, letting people know, because you can't walk in there with these expectations of one thing and be something else. And just like you walked away from those 2 listings last week, that's wise, because you're going to do yourself more harm and that seller harm. You don't want to accumulate days on market because they're unrealistic. You don't want overpriced, because then in a few months they're going to be part of that price reduction of the 25% that are reducing list price. And then they're just mad at you, like you're not doing your job. You're like, I told you from the jump.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing to get my home shown? And it's like, what do you want? It's crazy. People are crazy, and who needs the extra stress if the seller's not realistic from the beginning?
Yeah.
And the other thing you said about agents, we're going out to lunch every day and doing all this stuff. We're not.
Right.
But so many,
I am. They're not. No,
so many realtors in their social media life make it look like that's all we do, and I'm like, why you're making us look bad right now? You know that, right?
That's
like
right.
it's like, oh, I'm in this whatever. It's so it's like realtors feel they have to have this fake perception of like some glamorous movie star life or whatever.
Well, and it's why we attract all these new people into the business who think it's easy and you make a lot of money. I'm getting referred. One of my coaching clients is referring somebody to me, and he said he's a young guy, and he was telling me about him, and he thinks he's going to come into real estate and make a killing. And I said, yeah, well, he may be the dead body, but we'll see. I mean, because it's just, but in a way, we do that. Good realtors are like good ice skaters. We make it look easy.
Yeah.
And so people really don't understand how hard our business actually is. It's very, very hard.
That's why so many people jump ship the first year. They're like, oh, never mind, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
This isn't what I thought it was.
It never is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah, we are definitely in that business that I don't understand that sometimes. And I do.
The social media aspect? So I understand that, right? Because that's all their version of marketing. When you come into the business, you're given a headshot, and it's like, well, you buy a headshot, but and it's all about put your face on everything, market you, you're your business, it's your face, they gotta like you, know you, trust you. So when people are out there working that social media, that is the best marketing platform we have. So of course they want to put their best foot forward. Is it real? Nah, nothing online is, but we all do it.
Yeah, I guess there's something to that. And I'm on social media all the time too, so but it's different. I feel like it's a different angle or whatever aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's funny, and it's whatever works. At the end of the day, if it works, it
That's
works.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. And
absolutely right.
Yeah.
As long as that marketing gets them in front of a table with a seller, and then they are skilled enough as an agent to understand what's happening in the market that they're in now and can convey that, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Show us your brunch. We want to see your vacation. It's all good. It's fine with me.
It's good for recruiting agents.
Yeah. A bunch of agents who are unrealistic about how the process really works.
Yeah.
Then they come into a training with me and they go, what?
Right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I got to work now?
Yeah.
I'm not here for that.
I remember telling someone, they say, well, how do you find buyers and sellers when you first get started? And I'm like, get on the phones and call people.
Yeah.
Like cold call? Yeah, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Door knock, you could door knock if you don't want to call people, and they're
Right.
looking at me like I'm insane. Like, what
That's
are
what
you
I
talking
did.
about?
I didn't want to call, so I door knocked.
Yeah, I prefer face-to-face. Yeah,
I
that
do
was
too.
me
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah.
don't like to spend a lot of time on the phone. So you, and
You
then
pick your poison, but you don't get to not have one.
you don't get to
Right.
not have one. It doesn't
Yep.
just automatically come unless
right.
I don't I don't know a world where it does.
No.
But once you build your business, it does.
Oh yeah, but
Years in, 5 years.
Right. Well, that's the goal. You have to lay down that foundation, just
Yep.
like building a house when
Yep.
you start in real estate. And it is a hustle for a very, very long time.
Yep.
And then once you are seasoned and you've had a lot of transactions, you've been in the business a while, you start to get some referrals. That's nice, but you can't take your foot off the brake because it's all about relationships
Yes,
and
it is.
nurturing those relationships that you've built.
That's the hardest thing to get new people to understand. See, you guys both know that. Your business comes from the relationships that you've created over time, that you rely on and that you reconnect with on a regular basis.
Right.
New agents have the hardest time understanding that that's where their business is going to come from. So they've got to start creating those relationships right from the beginning.
Day one.
And yes, and then build enough of them so that by the time they get to to being in the business for 5 years, that they've got a base that they can rely on. You know, I tell people it takes 2 years. We have a very steep learning curve in our business. It takes 2 years before you think you know what you're doing. It takes 5 years before you really do know.
Yeah.
Because all of our transactions are so different and the market changes in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
so much change going on. It takes a long time to be a seasoned agent.
Yeah, so that madness and chaos is exactly what brought me to the business. I love that each transaction is its own life, different
truly
energy,
is.
different circumstances, and as the market changes, I don't like monotony. So
Well, good, you're in the right place.
I am definitely in the right place. So it's always new and exciting, and it's always the ability to learn and change. And so that's what attracted me here. Had I known what the business was when I first got into it, I don't know that I would have got into it, but now
You know, that's why we don't
the
tell
hustle.
people. We don't tell people how it really
great.
is.
We have no
It's great.
realtors.
nobody's helping you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a and I'll close on this
Okay.
here, but I had a seller recently over the last couple months. He had bought his home about 1.5 years ago and sold it. Just changes, life changes. Sold, bought another home, then referred me another seller like a week later. Whatever. But he didn't buy about 1.5 years ago when he bought his home. It wasn't through me. So partially through this, I'm like, what happened to the realtor that sold you the house? And he's like, you know what? I never heard from her. I went into contract. We bought the house. I went into contract. I didn't hear from her till it was almost like time for closing. She contacted me a couple of times. After closing, she never called me again.
Yep.
Never heard from her again. He's like, so, I just didn't feel like I wanted to call her back.
Right.
And I was like, wow, how can you miss that opportunity? And even then, it was that's when we had the conversation because we had closed, and I called him a week later. How's the house? How's things going? Anything? Do you know where your warranty invoice is? Here's a copy of it. just the follow up.
Right.
A lot of stuff. It's been busy. You've been moving.
Yep.
Here's what happened. And it's like, how do you miss that opportunity? I don't understand that with realtors, but
there are agents out there. They're in it, and they're like I call them the bulldogs. They go out there, they get the listing. They are driver personalities. They're like, yes, I'm going to get all the listings. They do the transaction. It closes. Everything's fine. But there was no relationship built, no connection made. And that is a huge mistake in this business because you should have a realtor. Everybody has a realtor, or 2 or 3 or 4, but you should have one that you trust and to help you navigate what is going on in the world of real estate at that time, because it's ever changing, and you have to have somebody that communicates on the level that you like to communicate, right? So I'm super sarcastic. If you don't like sarcasm, don't call me. But other than that, you really need to build a relationship, because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, we should do a whole show on building relationships.
Yeah, we
Sharon.
should. We
Okay.
should.
So next time you're
just
here,
did
let's talk about building relationships.
I'd be up for that.
That
I
is
absolutely would.
That is a great show. And Sharon, she's a repeat guest. These are our bonus episodes, Coaching Corner. We love having her here because it's helpful. I know there's people out there, if you're not in real estate, no matter where you are in anything, coaching and mindset can help you through things. So I hope you got to take away at least something.
I got the
helps
nugget,
you.
right? I was not aware that the unconscious mind and the conscious mind don't communicate inside my head. Everything else happens inside my head. I don't know why this is any different, but now I will start my new talking to
You have
myself.
to talk to yourself.
I'm
I'll
going
be
to
like,
argue with
"Girl,
myself way more often.
Girl,
now.
you
Out
love
loud.
mornings.
Out
You
loud.
love mornings. Get up. You love mornings.
Don't judge me. You see me yelling at myself going down the street. I don't want to hear it. I was told this is how you do it. So no
All
judgment
right,
out
Sharon.
there.
So we love having you. If the guests out there, the people listening to this, want to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
702-289-1537 or sharon.swanton@yahoo.com. Either one will work.
And
Perfect.
Sharon, you have a social media, you're doing your coaching corner. You have it's on your videos online, your YouTube.
Yes, I do have some
Yes.
stuff online, although I haven't gotten it all straightened out yet. I am not the technology queen of anything.
Okay.
It's a good thing that I can turn on my computer and make it work. So I'm still working through getting the YouTube stuff up and out and working. But yes,
I have
do.
seen and shared a couple of your videos.
Oh, great. Okay.
I
Thank
do
you.
believe, you're welcome. I do believe, and they're very good.
Thank you.
Very good. I do believe they're on our Facebook page, but I will make sure that I repost them if someone wants
Okay.
to go and take a look at some of your coaching sessions, because
Okay.
they're very good.
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. And you guys, please hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the show. Send us listener questions. Vegas, realtycheck@gmail.com. We are going to answer your questions here on the show. We haven't got any. What's going on? You guys are quiet out there. Give us some
Talk to us,
questions.
people.
Talk to us, please. We want to hear from you. And please take a moment, download our show. We are here every Thursday at 9:30, and we'll see you next week on Realty Check.